Welcome back to Movie Recap. Today I'm gonna show you a 2020 American action thriller film called Ava. Spoilers ahead. Sit back, relax and enjoy. The film opens in France, with Ava driving a car while applying her lipstick. She acts as a personal driver to a man named Peter, who asks her if she is American. After replying yes, they then have a conversation that seamlessly transitions into flirtation. While this is happening, a woman is following them via a motorcycle. Ava and Peter stop by at an abandoned lot. There, Peter offers him alcohol, but Ava quickly refuses. She then asks Peter about what he has done wrong for him to be targeted for assassination. He thinks it's a joke by one of his friends, but Ava immediately confirms it by shooting at his hand. When Peter fails to provide a sufficient answer, Ava executes him. Meanwhile, the girl on the motorcycle listens to their conversation from afar using a recording device. While driving away, Ava is contacted by his mentor, Duke, about the assignment. Duke notices in Ava's voice that something is bothering her, but Ava disregards this as nothing. The film then jumps to Ava boarding a flight to Boston. In the film's opening sequence, a brief history of Ava is shown, including her high-achieving past, her alcoholic down spiral, her entrance into the army, and the list of targets she successfully executed. In the next scene, Ava finally reaches Boston, where she checks in at a hotel. Meanwhile, a man wearing a sleeveless shirt is contacted by the same organization that Ava serves. The organization tells him to keep watch of Ava until the time is right. After her night jogging, Ava returns to her room and watches the news about her recently assassinated target. Afterward, she receives a gift-wrapped box from an unknown person. There are stacks of money, a gun, and a passport inside the box. Later that night, she attends the mini-concert of her sister, Judy. While walking in the cold night, the sisters catch up with each other's lives, as Ava has been missing for 8 years and has only contacted them every 6 months since then. Because of this, Judy has some pent-up rage toward Ava. She also informs Ava that their mother is confined in the hospital after suffering a heart attack. The following day, Ava visits her mother in the hospital. At first, she is hesitant to enter the room, only staying by the door, but her mother insists. After briefly talking with each other, the three then walk around the hospital's vast grassy field, where they reminisce about the past. In the next scene, Ava receives information about her next target in a plane, a German general in Riyadh. Her role is to act flirty but classy toward the general and that she should kill him by making it look like an accident. She also has been told some additional information to say if she is asked certain questions. Immediately after, we can see Ava talking to the general. After telling the other officers the information she had been told earlier, the officers leave Ava with the general. The general then invites Ava to his office to escape from the party, and Ava eagerly accepts. In the office, we can see in his face that the general is receiving immense pleasure. However, this is immediately changed when Ava injects poison on the general's foot, making him paralyzed. As her usual routine, Ava asks the general about the wrong thing he did, but this is immediately interrupted by the sounds of incoming officers. Because of this, Ava has no choice but to slit the general's throat so that he can die quickly. While fighting against the officers, she asks one of the officers if it's due to her earlier information. After a brief fighting scene, Ava manages to escape by acting injured. After unknowingly getting a soldier's assistance to the ground floor, Ava then drops a smoke bomb and promptly exits. Outside, she fights against incoming soldiers before finally escaping for good. After the disastrous assassination, Ava heads immediately to Normandy. There, she meets and talks with Duke, who is fishing by the seaside. She asks Duke if he has orchestrated the botched assassination, but Duke reassures her that this is not the case. Because of this, Ava tells him that she will have a short rest from the job. Duke tells her that he's already way ahead of her as he has already arranged for it. Ava then returns to Boston, where she is secretly observed by the man assigned to watch her. After jogging toward the hospital, she then sees her ex-fiancé, Michael, visiting her mother. It turns out that Michael is now dating Judy, causing Ava momentary distress. Inside their mother's room, Ava is asked to fix the television. While fixing it, the mother asks the three to have a nice dinner sometimes to get together. Later that day, Ava attends a session on Alcoholics Anonymous, where she confesses about her past. She tells them that she once caught her father cheating on her mother and that her father cried as a result. However, the father, in return, lies about Ava stealing his money to buy drugs. The mother sided with the father, which is the primary reason why Ava left for the army and never returned for 8 years. She adds that she might have killed her father if she had not left the place. In the next scene, Duke visits a house hidden in the forest. There, he meets up with Simon, another assassin that Duke had personally recruited and trained. Simon then furiously tells Duke that Ava has been breaking protocol for asking her victims about what they have done. We can see here that the woman on the motorcycle earlier is Simon's daughter, who is also an assassin. After Duke implores Simon not to kill Ava and just let her rest for a while, Simon has no choice but to accept. He then tells Duke to leave his house. After Duke has left, he then tells his daughter that Ava is a danger to the organization, that he was planning to end her in Riyadh without telling Duke. He then tells his daughter to contact and inform the man observing Ava that he is now free to kill her. Sure enough, that night, Ava is attacked by the man while she is conducting her night jogging. After a brief melee, Ava manages to outplay and kill the man in the park's fountain. Due to the attack, Ava immediately confronts Duke the next day, threatening him for information about what happened last night. Duke again reassures her that he's not planning to kill her. He also asks Ava to trust him. Ava feels a fatherly kind of love from Duke, bringing her to tears. She then leaves the scene, deciding to trust Duke. That night, Ava, Judy, and Michael have dinner at a restaurant. At first, Ava seems to be out of it, but they eventually interact with each other. However, the evening turns sour when Michael informs Ava about something that Judy has personally told him. Judy is not pleased with this, and their conversation descends into an argument. Ava's comment about how weird it is to be in that restaurant despite having many memories there is the final nail in the coffin. Judy then storms out of the place, leaving the two ex-lovers on the table. Michael then tells Ava that she cannot just return out of nowhere and suddenly fix everything. After saying his piece, Michael also leaves the table, leaving Ava alone. In the next scene, Ava is sleeping in her bed when she hears a loud knock on her door. Out of instinct, she immediately wakes up with a gun in her hand. However, after learning that it is her sister, Ava quickly hides the gun and talks to her. Judy informs her that Michael has not come home. Judy then decides to leave because she does not trust her sister, but Ava insists. Judy then asks if she knows where Michael could be found, and Ava connects the dots in her mind, correctly concluding that Michael is gambling again. She then tells her sister that she does not know Michael's whereabouts. In reality, Ava certainly knows as she heads toward the hidden gambling place the next day. There, she encounters Michael gambling with Tony, an old friend of hers. Ava then tells Michael that they are leaving because Judy is searching for her. After Tony does not let them go, a fight breaks out in which Ava quickly suppresses the attackers. She then points a knife at Tony's neck, holding her hostage until they can peacefully leave the place. Before leaving, she tells Tony to give her 36 hours to pay Michael's debt. Outside, Michael confronts Ava about her eccentric moves, but Ava refuses to talk about it. Michael then angrily tells her that she just disappeared for 8 years right after accepting his invitation to marry. Ava attempts to comfort Michael, but Michael flinches away from her touch. He then tells Ava that he has asked Judy to marry him and that Judy has already accepted it. Because of this, Ava leaves, visibly heartbroken. Ava attempts to drink alcohol again to ease her burden upon returning to the hotel, but she stops herself, just smelling the glass of whiskey instead. In the next scene, Duke returns to Simon's house. Simon happily talks to him, but Duke straightforwardly asks if he ordered Ava's assassination. Simon confirms this, telling Duke that he's not his master anymore. Duke then points a gun toward Simon, and Simon's daughter also pulls out her gun. This tension is briefly stopped when Simon's other daughter arrives to greet his uncle Duke. After the other daughter leaves the scene, Duke immediately disarms Simon's daughter, and Simon retaliates by charging at his former mentor. Their battle rages for a while, with Simon telling his daughter not to interfere in their fight. After a considerable time fighting, Simon emerges as the winner, stabbing and finally suppressing his old master. In the next scene, Ava goes to her mother's house, inviting her to a game of cards. While playing, the mother confesses to her daughter that she actually knew about her husband's illicit affairs but chose her husband over her daughter because she does not want to be alone in life. She then adds that she sees something in Ava's eyes that says she will not repeat to her child the same mistake she did. Meanwhile, Simon takes Duke by the lake, where he tells Duke that he will personally go to Boston to end Ava's life. He then asks Duke if he has anything to say to Ava, and Simon replies that he's apologizing to Ava for being unable to witness how she'll defeat Simon. Simon then takes a picture of Duke and a video of him plunging into the lake. Later that night, Simon contacts Ava to introduce himself as another one of Duke's students. He then informs Ava that he has killed their mentor, infuriating Ava. He ends the call with Duke's final message for Ava. Afterwards, she receives the pictures and video of Duke's final moments. In the next scene, Ava heads to Judy's house, but all she sees is Michael. She then steals a kiss from Michael's lips, telling him to leave together. Michael then informs her that Judy is pregnant, sending her deeper to despair. Perhaps to vent out her anger, Ava goes to Tony's club and kills the guards there. She then lets Tony punch her a few times in the face, telling her that when she kissed Michael without thinking about the consequences, she realized just then how powerful she was. She then chokes Tony, but she decides to spare her, telling her that they are now even. Due to all the recent events, Ava goes home defeated. She then looks at the tiny bottles of alcohol that rest in her fridge. After trying to fight the urge, Ava finally succumbs to the poisonous pleasure of alcohol. Just like that, she returns to what she had managed to stop for 8 long years. Unable to cope with the events, she then takes out her gun and tries to kill herself with it, pointing it upon her head but failing to pull the trigger. Suddenly, an armed Simon enters the room. What follows is a great battle between the two, showcasing their fighting skills to each other in a sequential manner. After exhausting themselves, the fight ends in a tie, with Simon leaving the room. However, Ava is not satisfied as she decides to follow Simon with the intention of killing him. Just like that, their roles have reversed, with Ava now planning to kill Simon while following him, stalking him like a helpless prey. After a long while, Ava finally catches Simon, with Simon understanding if she really wants to kill him. After making sure that his family will not get hurt later, Simon allows his execution at the count of 5. Ava agrees, but she fires at 1. Afterwards, Ava heads to her sister's house, giving her money and a passport so that they can leave the country. Michael then gives Ava a letter from an unknown person. In what might be their final conversation, Judy asks Ava who she really is, and Ava does not answer. The film ends with Ava reading the letter that is actually from Duke, in which he wants Ava to know that he is happy with how his life has turned out. While walking away, Ava is being followed by Simon's daughter. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this to help the channel out. Have a nice day.